Everyone, welcome to the channel again. My name's Colin, call sign MM0OPX. Now, a problem that a lot of us run into is being able to put up the antenna that we want to. We tend to put up the best one that we can, and that's the best antenna that we have. But we're all looking to to maximise on what we can use, and if possible we're looking to get gain if we can. I know personally I'm looking to do that. So what I've been looking at is an antenna that gives you gain, but also doesn't require what we call planning permission here in the UK, certainly in Scotland, and in the States I believe you have HOAs, homeowner associations, which are pretty strict, and I think they're even stricter than what we have on our planning laws. Now, depending on where you live, you may have restrictive deeds written into your house, into your property, and what you can and can't do. I'm not so much restricted by that, but I am restricted by what the council say we can put up. So there's a document that we have here in Scotland, and it's called permitted development. Now I know this document reasonably well, because I had a disagreement with my neighbour last year. He was complaining in regards to putting up a small Wendy house, child's playhouse. So he spent the best part of 8 months complaining about that and got himself absolutely nowhere. The council were great with us, and the reason that we were allowed to put it up is because it was below the height that you need to apply for planning permission. His issue was it was blocking his view over to the park, so he was looking across my garden across to the park, and he didn't like that. But anyway, that's a different matter. But because that's happened, the relations are not the best. So I do have an aluminium tower here, like a antenna mast, and I don't actually have planning permission for that. So he decided to make a complaint about that last year, but unfortunately, or fortunately for me, it had been up for over 5 years. And here in Scotland, certainly, we have a law or a rule that says if you have a building or a structure that's been up in clear view for over 4 years, enforcement action cannot be taken. So that's basically what the council were absolutely fine with that. So there's no issues there. So I've got to be pretty careful in regards to what I put up. Now, we have the basic sort of regulation here is, so if you're within 1 meter of your boundary, then you can have a structure that is 2.5 meters high, and it could rise up to 3 meters high, I think it is, or perhaps 4. But if you're 1 meter or more than 1 meter from the edge of your property, you can have a structure that is 3 meters high, and the apex, because it generally speaks about buildings, can go up to 4 meters. And in this instance, this is what I'm actually applying the antennas that I'm actually talking about. So this could be potentially a way that would allow you. It allows me. I mean, it doesn't really bother me, because the antennas, when I've got them set up, they're completely temporary. And we also have something called the 28-day rule. So if you have a structure and it's only up for less than 28 days in the year, then you don't need to have planning consent for that. So if you're over these limits, then you would need to apply to your local council and apply for planning permission. Once you have that, but some councils can be very, very draconian. I believe where I am in West Lothian, they're okay, so you may have some issues. So hopefully this video is going to help to give you an antenna that does not require any planning permission whatsoever. And perhaps if you're overseas in the States, not quite sure what your HOA would in the States would entail, but perhaps I know that I've heard people talk about other YouTubers saying that as long as it can't be seen from the front of the property, then it's fine. And I'm sure that this antenna system would allow you to do that. So let's go and have a look at the antenna system itself. A lot of you watching this video will probably have seen this setup before, or something very similar to this. So if you check out my other videos, and if you hit the subscribe and the like button, that would also be much appreciated. So I'll just give you a quick rundown. So we've got two identical verticals, antennas for 20 metre, and they're actually phased. Okay, so there's a delay line there, so one's fed just slightly behind the other. So a couple of videos ago you seen me running over this feed point. Now, just based on my experience with Adjusty Wave and making it very, very modular, it's quite easy for me to actually make this type of stuff. Now, this ground plate that I'm using here, this is what you've seen in the previous video as well, so this is the first of me actually using them. These radials are made from SOTA beams wire. These are 2 meters long each, and each antenna has 96 meters worth of wire on them. So normally a 20 meter vertical would be roughly 5 meters high. Well, mine are only 3 meters high, or just shy of 3 meters. And you can see I've got them more than 1 meter from the boundary. So we're linear loading, and I'm a big fan of linear loading. If you keep the linear loading spacing quite wide, you still keep much the same usable bandwidth as you get from just a standard quarter wave vertical, and I don't believe you lose a lot in efficiency. So it's still an efficient antenna, but you're just reducing the height drastically. So this wire that I'm actually using, this is tinned copper silicon wire. Now, it's not the cheapest. I'll say that up front. I bought on Amazon, I bought 18 gauge, 2 rolls, a roll of black, roll of white. It came as a bundle, and I think there was 42 meters in each roll. It was a funny quantity anyway. I think it was about £30 for all that wire, but that'll make me a lot of antennas. And the reason I bought that wire is because I needed a wire that was just extremely flexible. See, if you just use normal PVC coated wire, you wouldn't get these nice bends through the pulleys. So that's why I'm using that wire. It's absolutely beautiful wire. I can't remember how many strands, but there's a lot of strands in it, and with the silicone coating, it's just a beautiful wire to work with. So that's what I've done. And both antennas are identical. Absolutely no different. There we go. The top mounting plate, as I call it, I've had to make a new one, and I've just made one with what I have. The centre clamp is a 30mm diameter, and I probably needed around about the inch, but I just padded it out with some nitrile rubber, so I just made do with what I have. I didn't see the point in buying some more of these clamps, because you pay quite a lot in postage to actually get them. So that's the two antennas themselves. And then looking at the phasing system, so you have 2 feed lines. So these are 157 degree feed lines. You've probably seen these before in my phasing videos. This relay box, this is actually my this would actually be the 4th one I've made. So I have 2 identical systems, and this is the 2nd of those. So this is giving me a chance to try those out. The delay line, which you can see in the middle, this one that's curled, this is a 39 degree feed line. And I should say, what makes this system so compact is this is only 8th wave phasing, so there's 2.5 meters between these antennas. So it's the same when I run 40 meters, I'm actually running 5 meters spacing, so I can just squeeze it into my garden. If I was running the standard quarter wave phasing, I could run 20s, but I couldn't run 20 meter verticals, but I couldn't run 40s. So again, that's the relay box. There's a coax line which runs back to the radio, and then this blue one here, this is the control line. So this is a 3-core wire that then runs back to the radio, and we'll go and have a look at that next. So apologies here for the very messy garage. I would have preferred to actually have hooked this up and worked from the nice warm house. It's quite cold out here today. It's only about 6 degrees, so not as cold as it has been, but still pretty chilly. So we have the coax and the control line coming in, so we go into this control box here, and we have power going into it as well. You don't need a big power supply for this at all, so any sort of 12 volt supply will do. I have my key. I've already actually made a CW contact into a Lima Zulu. Obviously the radio is the 705, and I've got it in its little go box, and it really helps for quick deployment. So that's the setup. I've already done some front to backs, and I've had some really impressive front to back, some 20 potentially 30 dB front to back from a Russian station. But I also checked front to back from a Spanish station, and I was very little. I couldn't notice any difference, and I think that's just to do with where the pattern's coming from. So with phase verticals, it's not like having a Yagi that's way up high in the clear. You know, you have verticals, they're close to the ground, you've got obstructions, so, you know, the health warning is you won't always see front to back in every signal. It'll, where you're getting the clear, you know, the clear path for the propagation, that's when you'll see it. So that's just a little warning. So we could have a little tune about the band here. There we go, that's incredible. Let's put 3-4 S points in that, difference to that station. Maybe more than that. At least 4 or 5 S points, I think.
Italy Zulu 6 Tango Golf Sierra. This is Italy Zulu 6 Tango Germany Sierra. CQ 20 meters. This is Italy Zulu 6 Tango Golf Sierra.
So there's about an S point or two maybe. Definitely a difference, but not massive. Now, here's an interesting thing. If you look at my noise level when I'm pointing east, okay, look at the display. Turning broadside, it gets worse. And when I go west, it actually makes it worse again. So when I'm actually pointing west, so that would suggest that the interference that I'm seeing now, there's actually a little substation not far at all from my house, probably only 40 metres, and it's perhaps picking up interference from that. But that's quite interesting to see. I've never seen that before. So broadside, a bit less, pointing east, a lot less. So that's something new I've learned. So here's the station calling here, and look at the front to back we're getting on that S8, and when we change it to the west, S3, S7, so there's a real noticeable front to back with the station. So that's K1RM. The 3 S points on him. 4 S points maybe. Pointing west, pointing east. You could really hear the difference. So, not sure if you've perhaps lost me there, Vic, over?
Yeah, just got you now, Colin. You did take a dive, and then some click. Come on, we get clicks here. I don't know where they come from, but we get clicks, and then it attenuates the volume for a split second. It does. You know, it's like someone living next door just switched the light on. You know, but there's no one living next door. Because there's no one next door. So it's got to do something with maybe the water department up the lane. They do have a pumping station, and maybe there's all sorts of things being clicked on, and the electric cable goes right through my garden. Their electric cable that I'm connected to goes right through my garden. So that's probably what it is. It's certainly not anyone a mile away in town. But I'll say 7-3 to you, Colin, if you don't mind. And you stay safe and all the best for now. MM0OPX LZ7CW.
Yeah, fine there, Vic. I think what had happened there, I actually changed directions. I changed directions on the antenna. So could I just try it again? Just try it once more, Vic, and see how much of a dive I take, over.
Yeah, or did you want to try and... Yeah, you're 5 and 5 at the moment, Colin, over.
Okay, Vic, and this is me pointing the other direction. How do you copy now, over? Any copy, Vic? Any copy, over?
Yeah, I've still got you. Just got you. but I didn't notice any difference whatsoever at this time. Still 5 and 2, 52 over.
Okay, Vic, so perhaps 5 and 5 down to 5 and 2, was that the kind of difference over?
Yeah, you're on 5 and 5 now, just below 5 and 5, over.
Okay, Vic, so with changing the verticals, with switching the verticals, I'm getting roughly 2 S points difference, Vic, or 3 S points difference, sorry, 3 S points, so that's still 15 dB, so that's pretty good, Vic. Okay, Vic, we'll wish you 73s, and thanks for taking the call. Nice to speak to you, and thanks for doing that little test. LZ7VWMM0OPX.
Yeah, you did peak the 5 and 6 on that antenna, and then you just had a little bit of kill.
Let's get near the end of yet another video. I couldn't really hope for any better for this test. I didn't think it would perform as well as what I thought, but really the standout of the show was CW. Obviously we've optimized the antenna for 14175, which is the middle point of the band and really kind of quite close to the DX SSB frequency, but seeing as much front to back on the CW portion of the band was incredible. Did get a few contacts in the log, couple of CW and one SSB. I really wasn't looking to get many contacts in the log. That wasn't the whole purpose. Really was just wanting to look at the front to back. That was the main thing. So as you've seen in the video there, I worked Vic over in Bulgaria. So he was, it was hard for him because I wasn't the strongest. Even he was well over 9, but I'm only running 10 watts here. So you need to, you know, I'm running QRP, and it's never easy when you're running QRP. You've got to have the cards stacked in your favour. But I was getting a couple of S points on him, and that's what he got on me. So what I'm finding is, the more I test, is that the kind of the difference I'm getting front to back, that's the kind of difference I'm seeing on transmit as well. So I'm absolutely over the moon with the setup. I think it's got lots of advantages. The only one difference I could really see from using the, you know, just the straight vertical is the SWR is slightly higher. When I set the verticals up individually and set them to the dip at 14175, they were about 1.3 to 1, 1.4, which is just fine, perfectly usable. But when you connect it up to the phasing network, it just raised it just below 2 to 1, and I'm not really bothered about that. It's really not an issue. Any modern transceiver will handle an SWR of 2 to 1 all day long, you know, and I've even got my linear there that, you know, it can handle up to 3 to 1, so it's not an issue. But that's really the only difference. When I've got the just the normal verticals on, but everything else is the same, then it's almost a 1 to 1, 1.2. But that 2 to 1 SWR is covering the band, so it's not like there's parts of 20 meters that I can't use. So yeah, I really couldn't. Will I use the antenna like it is? Well, I'll certainly keep it in the armoury. It's only going up temporary. So if it was going up full time, then I would leave it as it is, and then a complaint couldn't be made against it. It doesn't need planning. But that was really the whole purpose of this video. So if you've maybe got problems with a neighbour, problems with a local council, problems with the homeowners association, and you're looking to get an antenna in the air that's going to give you some gain, it's going to give you front to back, and it's going to satisfy these planning HOA conditions, then perhaps this antenna is one to look at. It does look complicated. I'm not going to say it doesn't. When I first started looking at phase verticals a couple of years ago, when I was coming up with a Just-A-Wave, I was going to have 3 antennas and have a parasitic array. I thought, no, I can't do that. You know, that's too difficult. You look at some of the circuit diagrams, because I mean, I'm not electrical. I'm very much mechanical. But when you actually see them built and you look inside them and you see what's there, there's not a lot to them. So don't be put off. I'm going to do a follow-up video on the more specific parts that you need. So I'll do a little video and we'll actually do a little bit internet window shopping, and I'll show you what you need to buy exactly if you want to build phase verticals with the Chrisman method. So what's going to be the next steps? Well, certainly I want to cut lines for 80 meters, because effectively 80 meters will just be a scaled up version of this. It will be linear loaded, pretty much the same. Obviously I need more radials per antenna. So lockdowns, well, we're kind of seeing a light at the end of the tunnel for lockdown. It's probably going to be at least another month or so, maybe 2, but I'll be able to go up to my parents and I'll be able to cut coax lines for 80 metres. Now if this works on 80 metres as well as it works on 20 metres, it's going to be an amazing DX antenna. You know, as of yet, you know, the last couple of tests that I've done, I wasn't really here in North America, but that was K1RM and I was getting 2 to 3 S points of difference on him. So, you know, that's still, you know, an S point is what, 6 dB? So am I getting, you know, 12 to 18 dB front to back? And bearing in mind that, you know, northwest from here is right through a house, so, you know, I suppose looking at the signals coming from Spain and Portugal, I absolutely noticed no difference on the front to back, whether it was point east, west, or broadside. There was no difference whatsoever. So don't be disheartened if you get a system and some of the signals you're seeing absolutely no front to back. I was seeing more with front to back. Italy, it was starting to come in, round to Bulgaria a bit more, but when you were getting into Russia, there was a real difference. You know, there was real front to back there. So it's been quite impressive. So I'm kind of waffling on here, so I'll bring it to an end. So thanks for watching once again. I did say already, but please subscribe, please hit the thumbs up button, and we'll see you in the next video.